All right. Can you hear me now? Are you able to listen to me now?
Yeah, actually, this is Vardini. It's very, very soft compared to yesterday.
Mm.
So I'm going to
Okay.
check my volume.
Okay.
Um,
Let's
right.
just. Okay, the volume's fine at my end, but I'm not sure why it's still so low. I'm not sure why. Um,
Mm. Let me see.
okay.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can
Oh,
definitely
oh,
hear
it's
you.
better. It's better now.
All right,
It's
perfect.
it's it's fine. Mhm.
Okay, thank you so much for letting me know.
Yep.
All right. So I think so we should begin, and as the participants will join, we can start letting them in. So, good morning to our next new episode of MCD Live. And as you must have read, today we will be talking about staying with yourself when the times get hard and when the times are tough. And what do we mean by staying with yourself? We will be discussing it. But before that, I want to start off with a very small exercise, very short exercise which we usually practice in our trauma-informed care, which has its roots in EMDR basically, but it's one of my favorite exercises. So it's called a
Do you
safe
want to
place.
wait for some more time? Do you want
Uh,
to wait for some more
we
time,
have
or I
we
don't
have
know?
people joining in. We have people joining in.
Oh, they
So
will. Okay, perfect. Thanks.
we will start off with this activity, which is called the safe place visualization. And as you already know by now, it's an activity where we actually visualize, we actually create a safe place for us. And it is something that can help your body remember what safety feels like. Because for a lot of people who have been through hard times, who have been through unfortunate events, sometimes the body forgets what safety looks like, what safety feels like. And this activity will help you actually experience that sense of safety internally, right? And if at any point while we are doing this activity, um, it feels uncomfortable, you just have to let me know and we can stop it midway. Because sometimes even visualizing and it can feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? So let's start off with this activity. Hello, Dr. Salil Gupta. Glad to see you here today. So glad to have you here. So we are just about to start off with our mindfulness act, which is safe place visualization activity, and it has its roots in EMDR, and it's a trauma-informed activity. We usually do it in our trauma-informed care. So it will actually help you feel a sense of calm and sense of safety because a lot of times when an unfortunate event happens in our life, sometimes we basically forget what safety feels like. So we're going to do this activity and visualize how it feels to be in a safe place. So I hope you're all sitting in a comfortable position and just put your feet on the ground, rest your feet on the ground, and allow your shoulders to drop, drop and relax. Just let yourself be free. When it comes to your body, just let your body be free. And take a slow breath in means inhale through your nose slowly. Hold it for 3 seconds. One, two, three, and take it out. Inhale again through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Let's breathe in again through your nose. Hold it In for a second and breathe it out. Now, if it feels comfortable for you, you can gently close your eyes. And as you have closed your eyes now, I want you all to bring your mind to a place where you feel safe, where you feel calm, where you feel even slightly more at ease. Like it could be any place. It could be a real place. It could be a beach, a mountain, a lake, a river, where you've been, or it could be an imaginary place. It could be an imagined place. It can be a quiet room. It can be a mountain view. It can be a garden or a completely made up place that only exists in your mind. And just imagine that safe place in your mind. Just think about it. That is your safe place. That quiet, that safe, that calm place. It's your safe place. Just imagine it. And now let's look at that place and look at more details. Notice more details, right? Slowly try to immerse your senses, your own self in that place. And 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 think about it. Just answer it in your own heart. You don't have to say it out loud. What do you see in that place? What is going on in that place? What do you see around you? Are there any people? Are there any colors? Are there any shapes? Any light coming from a distance? Sunlight? Or what is going on around you? What are the sounds that are present around you? Maybe there is no sound at all. Maybe there is a soft wind. Maybe there is water flowing in that river, in that lake, in that stream of water. Maybe there are birds singing. Maybe there is complete silence. There's nothing at all, right? Anything that is safe to your body, anything that feels safe to you, anything that feels familiar to you. What is it? Just imagine. And is there any scent in that place? Anything that you can smell? What is that? Is there any flower around you with a very beautiful fragrance? Are there are there any lavenders, any sunflower, any roses? What is the scent in that place? It could be your favorite perfume. It could be anything. It could be your pets, the pets you love, the people you love. And you're just letting it happen. You're just letting it all around you. Now, notice something very important. As you are in this place, how does your body respond to it? How does your body feel while you are in this safe place? Maybe your body is feeling relaxed. It is calm. It is safe. Your chest is loosening and your breath is it's slower than usual. You don't have to breathe rapidly. You can hear yourself breathe very calmly. Your mind is calmer, and you're going to notice even a small shift towards your thought pattern because you're in a safe place. You're in a place where you are supposed to be. If you are comfortable, we're going to do a short grounding rhythm to strengthen this feeling that you are in right now. Gently tap your hands on your thighs. First left, then right, then left, then right. Just tap your thighs with your hands in a slow and steady rhythm. This will help that feeling of safety stay for long. And as you are tapping your thighs, left, right, very, very slowly, keep your attention on that safe place where you are. And you don't need to make anything happen. Just stay there on the rhythm. And now slowly, slowly stop tapping and take a slow breath in through your nose and a longer breath out. You are still here, and now you can slowly open your eyes if it feels comfortable. Just slowly open your eyes. You are still here, your body is still here, and that sense of calm, that sense of steadiness and safety, that's something your mind and body has just experienced. You can always return back to that place. Anytime you feel overwhelmed, anytime you feel like you're not feeling safe, and there is something outside that's not you, that's not where you belong, just come back to this place. Because your mind knows how to rebuild that space. Your mind is aware. Because this entire safe place that you just created, your mind created it for you. So you know how to build it. And the more you practice it, the more quickly your nerve system will understand and remember how to calm down and settle when things around you are not very calm. So if you would like to share how it felt, you can share it in the chat box, and I can read it once you share it. So, staying with yourself. What does it mean to stay with yourself? All right. You know, sometimes we have to let go of the idea whenever something bad happens in our time, when something unfortunate happens in our life. We always think that we have to achieve that perfectionism in our emotional state. Yesterday, we discussed overwhelming situations and how to get rid of overwhelm. And getting rid of overwhelming requires a lot of effort, we say, right? And the first step towards that effort can actually make that effort seem very, very easy, right? And the first step is to reframe what our mind is telling us about ourselves, right? Because when we are in a state of overwhelm, when we are in a state where we have been through something bad, something unfortunate, we either just shut down, or we just keep on telling ourselves things that are not true about ourselves. So instead of the last exercise that we did was to reframe what we talk about ourselves. Instead of saying I'm failing, we changed it to I am having thoughts that I'm failing. And that makes a huge difference, right? So we need to get rid of being a perfect person when we are going through something bad. And when I talk about staying with yourself, I'm talking about a skill. It's a form of self-regulation. Self-regulation does not mean that when you're in a state of um, crisis or any bad time is going on, you just have to feel perfectly fine and perfectly regulated. That is not the goal. Staying with yourself basically means that you stop spiraling when things are difficult. We often see people in therapy and in our clinical work that people treat a state of distress, a state of bad time, when there is a bad time going on, they treat it as a psychological emergency. when people feel overwhelmed, when people feel sad, when people feel anxious, you know, we are always trying to look for an immediate fix to it, right? We try to suppress it, or we want someone around us in front of whom we can actually vent out what is going on. Of course, it's a human reaction to things, right? It's a human reaction when we are in such a state. But when those reactions, of course, they are human reactions, we are not realizing that if we are trying to abandon ourselves in that moment, we are trying to leave ourselves. So what does it mean? It means that we are trying to get rid of our human emotions. We are trying to get rid of our natural reactions and trying to find a quick fix, which is not humanly possible, which is not psychologically possible, right? You cannot get a quick fix for things. Yesterday, we talked about window of tolerance. Window of tolerance is how much you can basically tolerate before you get into a state of overload. And the same happens when when it comes to bad times, when it comes to unfortunate times. Staying with yourself means you build enough internal capacity. You build and you basically expand that window of tolerance that we discussed yesterday. So you can hold your own emotions, you can hold your own experiences without needing to immediately change it or run from it, right? So it's just an effective way in how you handle your internal state, right? So we have a few more people join us today. Okay. So let me discuss this. Wait just a second. Yes. Here we go. So yesterday we talked about window of tolerance. Today we're talking about how to deal with emotions, how to stay with ourselves by expanding this window of tolerance. Now, um, staying with yourself requires you to first notice that you have actually left yourself, that you've actually abandoned yourself, right? We all have exit strategies, or we refer to them as the defense mechanisms when we are going through a bad time, right? Or an unfortunate situation. Some people, they may intellectualize, right? We are trying to use logic to try to create distance from emotion. There are people who say that they would try to say that there is no point discussing this, there is no point thinking about it. I think so. There's no outcome when it comes to discussing this. So they try to intellectualize the situation and try to use logic to escape from it. This is a way of escaping, right? For a lot of people, what's the easiest way out? Behavioral escape, behavioral exit when it comes to that. People, when they are in a state of anxiety, stress, they would start scrolling on their mobile phone, right? There is something we call as stress eating. There are people who would start overeating, right? When they are in a state like that, when they have to face reality they don't want to face, when they just want to exit, when they just want to abandon, right? Something. They start overeating, they start scrolling social media, and they may think that they have escaped it, but back in their unconscious, those things are still alive. And it's the same for when people just want to overwork, right? They stay late hours in their workplace and keep on overworking uh, to get out of that noise, right? The internal noise that is still there, no matter how much you suppress it. Now you can think about the last bad day you had. Okay, what was your first reaction to it? What was the first thing you did when that bad thing happened? Did you not look for a distraction? Did you not look for a way out? Now, when that happens, your sympathetic nervous system, basically, it's trying to take over your frontal lobe. Your brain is basically trying to protect you from pain. But in that process, it's basically disconnecting you from your own self-awareness. Your distractions may somehow feel like they are a way out, but they are actually disconnecting you from your own self. Now, the point here is to stop that. You need to get out of that spiral. You have to catch yourself. You don't have to stop your feelings. Our goal, even when we are in therapy, is never to stop your feelings. It's impossible to stop your feelings. It's impossible to get out of your feelings when you're in a bad state of mind. You just have to stop exiting. You just have to stop that exit. Okay. You just have to stop that distraction, that self-criticism that arises from within yourself. You just have to acknowledge that I'm currently uncomfortable and it's a fact. I'm not in a state of crisis that I have to run from it. I know things are bad and it's a fact. I have to face it. You, once you start to acknowledge things instead of running from them, that will be the first step towards actually healing, towards actually building that sense of resilience within yourself, acknowledgement, acceptance that there is something and it exists, right? So you have to start off with acknowledgement. Once you start acknowledging, that will automatically stop you from exiting, right? Once you have accepted things, of course, they are uncomfortable. Of course, acceptance of things that do not go your way is uncomfortable. So, what do? You learn the art of grounding yourself, right? Whenever you are in a state of distress, of course, many of us are over the age of 25. Our prefrontal cortex is developed for most of us, right? So this is the logical part of our brain, the thinking part of our brain. So when we are in a state of stress, it's almost offline, you can say, right? So we have while we well, when we are trying to stop that exiting part, when we stop the distraction, we have to start with grounding and bringing that prefrontal cortex back into its online state, right? Take a moment, orient yourself. Take a moment and try to look around the room, right? This is the best way to ground yourself when you are feeling like things are not going your way. Just try to name three things uh, around you that are neutral. It could be bed, a sofa, your laptop, your mobile phone. Just name those things to yourself. And this is a technique that will actually help your amygdala know that your immediate physical environment is safe, right? So it will tell your brain that right now you're in a safe environment. If I'm telling myself again and again that my environment is safe, there is a sofa around me, there's a bed next to me, and there are safe things around me, it will tell my amygdala that things are safe. And I need to get out of that fight and flight mode, that fight and flight response. It will stop that response when you ground yourself, right? So try to orient yourself in that moment. Then focus on the sensation of your feet on the floor. Whenever, you know, we are feeling distressed, we somehow do not feel our body. We feel anxious. Our body is fighting that response of fight or flight, and we need to calm our body in that state. We have to feel our feet on the ground. Tell your nervous system where your boundaries are. When you are distressed, it feels like everything is going out of place. Our feelings are just spilling out everywhere. So tell your brain about your physical boundaries. Your hands around you, on your thighs, and breathing, and look at your feet. Your feet are on the ground. And tell your nervous system that my body is here, my body is safe. And try to breathe in and breathe out. And just notice how you are breathing. Sometimes practicing deep breathing, it may some people find meditative breathing not very helpful, but some do find it the meditative breathing helpful. So for those who don't find it helpful, can just notice the pace of your breath. Just notice how you are breathing. Just bring your attention to your chest. Your chest expanding and then relaxing while you are breathing. Okay, if you're breathing fast, let it be fast for a moment, but acknowledge that you are breathing. Your body is doing everything to keep you calm, right? So this will actually help you stay oriented. Now, staying with yourself also means that you are maintaining your external boundaries. Whenever we are feeling bad, we often either just isolate ourselves, or as we discussed before, we try to find a fix by talking to people. For some of us, it may be helpful in the short run, but self-containment means that you are finding a middle ground. You are telling yourself that I am having a hard time, but I am still the person. I am still the person who is managing my life. It is it is still me who is in control of my life, right? And how do you do that? By following your schedule as normally as you possibly do, right? Doing things that you usually do instead of instead of abandoning your routine. Exiting also means you abandon your routine, the things that you usually do in your daily life. It means you are eating on time, you are keeping yourself hydrated. The first thing is people, when they are in a state like that, is to forget that they have to drink water, right? So, eating on time, hydrating, eating how you usually eat, not not eating less than what's required, sleeping, trying to rest, even when it's not something you feel like doing. Just do it. Try to do it. We often think that we need to feel better before we can actually do better. That's a form of cognitive distortion. That's not right. We cannot always feel completely fine and perfect in order to do better, right? It's always better to exert yourself into becoming better by doing things that are going against that that thing that is pulling you towards suppression, that is pulling you towards distractions. Distractions do not help at all. You have to do the basic things, keep the routine, um, fulfill your responsibilities towards your family, towards the people you love, in order to stabilize your nervous system. All right. And once you start practicing it, neuroplasticity, we have been talking about neuroplasticity. It will create neural pathways, new neural pathways when you keep on practicing this. So even when times do get bad, your brain will have developed enough window of tolerance that we discussed. When you keep on practicing these things, keep on orienting yourself, it will have developed that window of tolerance that even when times do get bad, your nervous system will know when it can get stabilized, and you will actually move towards long-term change. So you can keep your dignity or by honoring your commitments to your own life, and even when you're not in the mood to do so, right? So, would anybody like to share something before we move forward to the last small activity I would like to do? Anybody wants to share anything, they can share it in the comments. Or would anybody like to speak? When in stress, the human action to stay safe, we tend to shut down. Yes, escaping is a form of exiting. And as I shared, exiting really doesn't help in the long run. Exiting may feel like it's helping you in the short run, but it doesn't. It develops into a greater pathology once we keep on suppressing things, once we keep on distracting, once we keep on just focusing on, getting away from things. it doesn't help in the long run. It only helps us feel like we are out of it in the short run. So would anybody like to share something?
Sure. That was good, Aisha.
Thank you.
Um, when you are in stress or something is not going in the right direction and you don't want to distract yourself, won't that increase the stress at that time?
Sorry, I
Because
didn't hear you clearly. Can you repeat again?
so if you are trying to be grounded while you are stressed and you are not trying to exit as you suggested, won't that increase your stress at that point? And it might
Hmm.
overwhelm you.
Okay, exiting is not considered a healthy strategy. So the strategy to not feel worse in that point is to, as I shared, is to orient yourself, is to acknowledge, is to accept things as they are. Of course, initially it will feel very uncomfortable. Initially, it will feel like you are losing it, you are getting more stressed. But
Right,
exiting will never be a healthy strategy in the long run, because exit basically means you are suppressing it. Exit basically means you are trying to get out of it. That feeling somewhere in your body, somewhere in your unconscious will remain, and it may manifest in the form, in other forms. For instance, if you are interacting with people, it may manifest in your behavior with them. If you're not addressing an emotion, if you're not addressing a feeling, and you're not grounding yourself at that moment, it may manifest in one way or the other. It's not going away. It's still there, even if you are exiting. It's still there. You're just exiting it yourself. The feeling is not exiting from your internal world. So at that point, it's better to address it. Of course, it may feel difficult at first. Of course, it may feel very uncomfortable and unsettling at first. But once you start practicing, once you start facing it, once you start acknowledging it, grounding yourself, and trying to deal with it in a healthier way rather than running away from it, it may definitely help you in the long run. By, practicing makes it perfect. Practicing makes it better. And that's why it's important to keep on practicing rather than exiting it time to time. So it will be a great idea from time to time. Take a close and honest look at yourself. This, of course, develops through mindfulness, meditation, and practice. Yes, absolutely. It's very, very important to self-reflect and to look at what we are feeling. Running away is never going to help. Distractions are never going to help. Distraction are a short-term strategy, and it's an unhealthy strategy. So it's always better to look towards the longer run rather than looking at the short term. Thank you so much, Dr. Salil, for the question. Would
right. Take care.
anybody like to share anything, or we can move forward with our
Hey,
activity?
hey, Ayesha, this is Bardini. I think I think you need to, in order to preserve yourself, like when in a stressful situation, sometimes you need to disconnect. I think that's what the
Hmm.
gentleman was saying. Doctor was trying to say, like, I think
Okay.
don't you need to disconnect yourself for the time being to, if you're not able to get away from a situation, if it's a really tough one, you mentally block what's
Yeah.
happening for self-preservation. Don't you think we need to kind of
Yeah.
distract for a bit? So is
Yeah.
that healthy? And
Yeah.
then
So,
learning the mindfulness and to come back, for resilience. I think that I was also thinking
yeah.
about that when he asked the question. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
Yeah.
valid. That's That's completely valid. You can say that grounding and mindfulness, when you talk about mindfulness and grounding, as we
Mm.
just did the exercise
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, you can say it's a form of creating an internal world that feels safe to you, right? It's a form of meditation, it's a form of mindfulness, right? You're not completely running away from it, but you're just giving yourself space. Some people just run away from their feelings. They just try to avoid it. That's not the goal of mindfulness. That's not the goal of meditation, the safe place visualization that we did. It's just that whenever it feels way too overwhelming, as I even shared it in the strategies when it comes to dealing with it, once you have to acknowledge that you are feeling that way, and then you have to start with the grounding techniques, grounding activities. That is, of course, okay, you can call it a way of distraction, but in some way or the other, it is helping you ground with the existence of acknowledgement as well. You are acknowledging before you start to disconnect and to go towards mindfulness. You have to acknowledge something is there rather than suppression. You can always do this mindfulness activity, as I shared in the beginning, that when things get very overwhelming, when you feel like things are getting very unsafe for you in your surroundings, you can create it in your mind. You can create a reality in your mind and go to that safe place. That you can refer to it as this as a way of distraction, but by running away from it, by exiting it, it's not the same as mindfulness. It's not the same as meditation. Meditation will help you calm yourself down. Mindfulness will help you calm yourself down. After you have acknowledged things, after it is very overwhelming for you to deal with the reality, to deal with the to deal with the feeling, it will help you ground yourself and deal with that painful feeling instead of running. You cannot say it's running away from it. You're still acknowledging things, and at the same time you're trying to ground yourself with the existence of acknowledgement. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, like sort of self-soothing and
Yeah.
telling yourself that you're safe by doing
Yeah,
the
yeah,
grounding. Except you have to
yeah,
accept first that this is what's happening to me, and then you can change it,
yeah,
right? So that's
yeah.
what
A
you're
lot
trying to
of
say. Yeah.
people, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. A lot of people, they just completely shut down from the world. They don't meditate. They don't do mindfulness activities. They don't ground themselves. They just shut down. They just keep on scrolling. Scrolling is the opposite of mindfulness. It's taking you to a world where once you get out of that zone, it's those feelings which you are trying to exit, they're going to come back stronger. They're going to come back, you know, much harder than they actually were before. If you had acknowledged it, if you had chosen mindfulness as a way to distract you, if you had chosen meditation or mindfulness as a way to distract and grounding yourself, it is much healthier than scrolling on the phone or ignoring your feelings or suppressing your feelings. So that is a healthier alternative, right? So I want you all to quickly, try to create a self-compassion muscle at the end. And you can, it's like an activity of acceptance, right? I keep on talking about acceptance again and again. So try to identify or think about a current struggle that you have, a current life event or distressing thing that is happening, and tell yourself while you are thinking about it that I understand that this is a moment of pain, or I understand that this is a moment of stress for me. And at the same time, remind yourself that suffering is a part of being human. And tell yourself that struggling is a part of human experience. Struggling and suffering and going through bad times is a part of human experience. And at the same time, place your hand on your heart and tell yourself that may I be kind to myself in this moment. because we're not very kind to ourselves, right? We don't act kindly towards our own self when we are we are in a crisis. So it's very important to tell yourself that may I be kind to myself in this moment, and may I be compassionate towards myself in this moment. And I have myself. And as I shared that activity, I will be I will try that. I will share it in the group as well. The safe place visualization. You can always practice it whenever you feel like your emotions are all over the place. So you can definitely try that out even once we are done with this session. Right. So before we call it a day, would anybody like to share anything or have any questions? So I think not. You can share it in the chat box, or if you would like to speak, you're always welcome to share it on.
That was nice. Thank you. And
There.
one of the oldest technique, people have used, especially in yogic philosophy, is just distancing from your thoughts, that you are not your thoughts, and extending that to distancing from your emotion, that you are not your emotions. Yes, you're feeling those, but you are a separate entity. And sometimes uh, that's beneficial.
Yeah, that's completely right. That is exactly what we discussed yesterday, that once we start noticing our thoughts from far, we have to understand that we are not our thoughts. This is what we also refer to as metacognition. Try to look at your thoughts as your thoughts. Your thoughts are not you. You are not your thoughts. They take up a space in your mind, but they are a separate entity. They are not you. Your thoughts are not you. That's absolutely right, Dr. Salil. That's completely right. And we need to start doing it much often, that once we acknowledge what we are going through, once we acknowledge what is going on, try to look at your thoughts like you would look at any other thing. Observe your thoughts like a third person and observe them and notice them. It will help you bring that awareness that you are not your thoughts. They just exist and you can notice them, observe them, which means that you're not your thoughts. Right? Absolutely. Uh, you are, sorry, I could not read this. Yes. You're not your thoughts. Visualize your thoughts in an objective manner and never allow anyone or any thought to live rent-free in your brain. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. No thought should live rent-free in your brain. Absolutely. That's completely right. So I think so. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir, for joining in today. It was lovely having you today on. I'm glad that actually I can have you on my session on weekends, and I'm very glad to
Take,
have you today. Always great to have you, and to the rest of the
uh,
people as well. Thank you so
take
much for
care. Thank
joining.
you.
Take care, everyone. Have a great week ahead. See you all tomorrow at the same time, same link. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.